Hey guys, we're trying something here. Welcome, this is Super Dave with Best Life. This is Super Dave, Super Dave. I'm doing this on my iPad, so it's a little bit different of an angle and obviously a different direction, but hope you guys are doing great. Um, I wanted to talk to you guys today about loving yourself and how that's such a big component. I mean, it's a massively big component towards your own alignment. Yeah, and we're gonna see if we can get Jenny in here too to translate for you guys as well. Um, but we'll just see. We'll just see how this all goes. Be Live is making some updates and stuff like that. So in the meantime, we're just gonna kind of play along with this. So and I'm just gonna check a couple buttons here. Yeah. Okay. Great. So when someone pops in, I'll be able to hopefully invite them in. But I'm glad you guys are here. Um, the 21st of April, and we are feeling and flowing with who we are. And yeah, I I'm really looking forward to just kind of expanding on this a little bit. And again, hi Jen. Yep, we're here. We're doing the live thing. Um, it's really about loving yourself, and um, but sometimes loving yourself can be a bit of a stretch. And so I wanted to expand that out because sometimes to say, oh, it's just really easy, you just have to love yourself. And I can speak to this really personally. Um, it took a while for me to love myself because there's that journey you have to go through. First, you have to go through not being harsh with yourself. Then you have to go through being gentler to yourself. Then you have to go through that of being kind to yourself. And then when you can be kind to yourself, then, and really only then, can you start getting into a space where it's about loving yourself. So, yeah, love yourself. Hi, Jen. Happy beautiful day to you too. But that really is the key: is being able to be loving to yourself. But in order for you to be loving to yourself, you have to first be kind to yourself, and even prior to that, you have to be less harsh to yourself. So, yeah. Oh, hi, Chris. Happy beautiful day to you too. Um, yeah, it's big, you guys. It's really, really big. Um, it ties in with so many of the other sort of principles that we talk about in Best Life, and one of them is being okay with where you're at. In order for us to flow forward, we have to really be okay with where we're at. We have to really be okay being okay. We have to really make peace with where we're at. And we don't make peace or be okay with where we're at by um, being angry with each other or being upset with ourselves. We make peace by acknowledging whatever we're feeling whenever we're feeling it in the moment. Oh, and I see Jenny's here. So, Jenny, I'm going to try to invite you, okay? So just try to follow the prompts, and we're going to give this a whirl. So let's see here, because I'd love for you to participate with me on this. So that, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Doing this right here. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Whoops a doodle, that's not what I want to do. You get to see some of my laundry, folks. Hey, we're learning as we go. We're feeling and flowing as we're flowing forward. Um, no. Well, this is fun, you guys, because I'm not sure what to do here. So, Jenny, on your end, you might want to try to click on the bottom screen where it has that little guy, and there's another little screen in there. That's you going to request to be on the recording. I thought I could do it on my end too, but I don't know if I can. To be completely honest, yeah, I'm not sure I can on my end. So we'll try it. But happy beautiful day, guys, to all of you who are here. What are you saying, Chris? You're saying it's hard to look in the mirror and tell yourself I love you. Well, Chris, I don't know if it's necessarily hard, but I will say if you have a lot of momentum of beating yourself up, yeah, yeah, it'll absolutely be hard, 100%. So that's why maybe don't say I love you. Maybe I appreciate you. Maybe, I really like where you're going. Maybe I'm so glad that I know that now and I'm continuing to flow forward. See, the key with all of this is really being gentle with with yourself. In order for you to really love yourself, you have to be gentle with yourself first. You have to be able to be kind to yourself first. And if you're going, it's hard to do this, then don't focus on what's hard. Focus on what's easy. Focus on what is something that does feel good. Even if it's something like, I'm better and better than I've been before, right? Or I know that my thoughts create. It could be something that lighthearted and that gentle. So it's perfect, and it doesn't matter how long it takes you. It really doesn't. Now, when you're saying it took me 3 years to do it, well, that's great, Chris. I mean, you have to remember too that everything that's happened to us served us if we allow it to. You know, there's things in my own life where I used to be very, very motivated, and I used to think that it was my job to motivate others. But it's all beautifully served me to flow forward to who I am now. So that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I sound a little quiet. Oh, that's probably because I have my iPad on my lap, Jen. Thank you for the reminder. Does that sound better now? I hope you guys can hear me now better. Like I was saying, was everything serves you if you allow it to. And if you've allowed it to serve you, then that's fantastic. So, oh, and I see Dory's here. Hi, Dory. Happy beautiful day to you. So yeah, Jenny, if you get a chance, and I'll try and say this again, at the bottom of your screen when you're watching the video, there should be a little person with another little icon right below him on your lower left side. If you click on that, that should get it so that way I can invite you in to the broadcast. So we'll give it a whirl. If not, all perfect. But yeah, you know, Chris, that's really it. It's just about understanding that just be kind to yourself. And I can understand that too, where sometimes it's like, well, that seems like, okay, that's okay. That's okay, Jenny. Don't sweat it. Just glad you're here. Glad you're here feeling and flowing with us. Always love when you're here doing these Facebook Lives with me. But even having your energy here is wonderful. But again, being kind to yourself is, like I said, really being okay with where you're at. Making peace with where you're at. Allowing yourself to just be kind to yourself. You know, I did used to be a person that was very harsh to myself and hard on myself. And it's kind of like this understanding of like, it's not only like not beating up on yourself, it's like not even bumping into yourself. Like, even if there's things that you notice that you're like, oh God, I could have done that better. You don't have to do that. Source isn't doing that. Your inner being isn't doing that. God isn't doing that. Your intuition, higher self, whatever synonym you want to call it, it's not doing that. So allow yourself the freedom and the kindness to do that to yourself too. Like, oh, you know, hey, I know this now. That's good. And the other big key thing about it too is with being okay with where you're at is really being honest with what you're feeling when you're feeling it. I'll give you guys an example. The other night, my car was making some noises, and I shared this example in class. And when it was making these noises, I definitely felt worried, and it felt so good to just acknowledge the worry. Like, okay, I'm feeling worried, but that's okay that I'm feeling this. And as soon as I started feeling that, I felt very guided to just go home. And even as I was going home, even in the midst of these noises, right? They say feeling good in the midst of a red hot mess, like Abraham refers to it. I still felt good. And then I felt even more guided because I was going, oh, you know what? Driving with Lyft, I have free roadside assistance. So if I get stuck, I can just call a tow. And that'll be an interesting experience too. So it was all perfect. But here's the point of it. Then I continued to feel good. I continued to love myself. I continued to flow with what would feel a little bit better in this next moment, and what would feel better in that next moment, and what would feel better in the next moment. And last night, feeling really, really good, by the way. Then I got some money in the mail, and I'm like, this is great, because I thought that money was going to come electronically. So I'm like, of course, you know, because I've been feeling good. I've been loving to myself. I've been being loving to myself. Then I was like, well, you know, I'm feeling inspired to go out and drive. And when I drove, guess what, guys? The sound was gone. Because of course it was gone. But here's the key, too. When it was gone, I wasn't like, well, how come it's gone? See, then I'd still be focusing on the problem. Then I wouldn't really be being kind to myself. It's like, My desire is that I wanted my car to not make noises, and now that my car is not making noises, to enjoy the fact that it's not making noises. Don't be like, okay, but why is it not making noises? Can you guys feel that? Have you guys ever had those sort of experiences in your own life, or maybe you've done that to yourself? Yeah, I feel good, but I shouldn't be feeling this good, or I was feeling so bad, now I feel good. Why? No, when you're feeling good, enjoy it. Take that in. When you're feeling good, enjoy it. Because by you enjoying it, you're allowing more of what you want, enjoyment, to come through, and more spaces where you can feel good to continue. So, oh, look at this. And she's just saying, I just found $80. Yay. See, this is what I'm talking about, Chris. That's what I'm talking about. These things are there for you. The universe is here to surprise and delight you. You know, and that's another thing, too, because I had a bit of an energy on even the word surprises for a while there. And, oh my gosh, surprises are awesome. I love surprises. I love the universe surprising me. I love being surprised. I love knowing that the universe is always there to surprise and delight us. So, Chris, good on you for founding $80. I'm not surprised. But by this, what I will say is that I'm not surprised in a way that I'm not shocked. But I am very delighted for you. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. Because when we're feeling and flowing with our alignment, the universe is just there to delight us. I'll give you guys another fun one. This was really fun. Because it's all about really being loving to yourself, going with the flow, making peace with where you're at, enjoying what you're doing, feeling and flowing with what feels good. So you guys know that I drive for Lyft, right? And we've talked about this. I've talked about this with Jenny, when I do my Facebook Lives with her. But I was really in this feeling good space. And as I drove, I picked up this girl and we started talking. And about midway through the conversation, I started to realize we've had this conversation before. So she's like, yeah, you've picked me up before. And I'm like, oh, that's funny, right? So it was a surprise. I was like, oh, that's right. So, you're a repeat customer. It's good to see you again. She's like, yeah. And as I dropped her off, I started talking to her a little bit about her boyfriend. She's like, yeah, my boyfriend's coming over. I'm like, oh, that's great. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and just glad I could get you from work, and, appreciate you using Lyft. You could have used Uber, but you're using Lyft. And she's like, yeah, you bet. So we're just kind of shooting the breeze, head out towards my old high school, get another ride. It's a guy. Pick up the guy. He pops in my car, and I don't even notice it, but he's like, Super Dave. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're Super Dave. And I was like, have I given you a ride before? And he's like, yeah, you've given me a ride before a couple times now, I think. I'm like, oh, well, I apologize. I've almost done 2,000 rides, so I don't keep track of every single driver or every single passenger that I've ever done. And he's like, no, it's cool, man. Don't even sweat it. So then again, he and I are shooting the breeze. And then I'm like, well, what are you doing today? And he says, oh, I'm going to visit my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I just dropped off some girl that's going to visit or has her boyfriend coming over. And he goes, oh, that's really cool. And I'm like, yeah, small world, right? And we just sort of shot the breeze some more. Then he started talking about his girlfriend and just how she got done with work and how she was getting not as many hours, but that's getting better. And I said, where does your girlfriend work? And she says she works at this coffee store off of Smoky Hill, which is one of the roads in my state. And we laughed. And I said, what's your girlfriend's name? And he said, her name is such and such. And I said, that's really awesome because I just gave her a ride. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, that's even funnier because I'm going to her house. I'm like, well, I know where to go because I just dropped her off. Surprise! Right? Can you guys feel that? It's like the universe is there to surprise and delight you with these sort of things all the time. But you have to be in the receiving mode to receive it. And whether it's $80 or repeat customers of one right after the other of someone who knows someone, or, wonderful noises in the car and then no longer having the noises, or money coming in the mail, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's different ways of understanding that it's all about the vibration of feeling good and feeling abundant. Here's a good rule of thumb. Anytime you're feeling good, you are in the space of practicing the accomplishment of your abundance. Oh, yes. So just know that by you feeling and flowing forward with who you are, you're in the receiving mode for abundance. So I'm going to do some scroll on some comments here. I haven't done this in a while, but let's see here. Jen saying, I'm loving this kind, loving, soothing energy. Me too, Jen. I love feeling soothed, and I love being soothing and loving and calm. I thought I saw somebody else pop in too, so I was just going to say hello if that was the case. Maybe I'm reading things. Let's see here. Oh, hi, Victor. Hello, Victor. We are always our harshest critic. Yeah, I mean, we really are. Um, and you know, Chris, I think another thing that's really gonna potentially soothe that too, is that again, consider that if you're critiquing yourself, you're still being a little bit harsh on yourself. We don't even need to critique ourselves because again, sources never condemning you, sources never critiquing you, sources never judging you, sources never putting you down, sources never saying you need to know this for the future. So I would say personally, if you find yourself being like, yeah, I'm always my harshest critic, there's gentler ways to go about that. But if that's what feels good for you right now, that's okay too. I don't even say those words to myself anymore though, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to think that I need to be my own harshest critic, or that I need to judge myself or condemn myself or put myself down or go, yeah, I'm doing really great, but I can really do this better. I'm doing great. And, even though I'm giving you some new awarenesses potentially, just know that you're doing great too. Chris, Jenny, Jen, all of you guys are doing so great and so great. I don't know how else to put it. Great, wonderful. I'd be all just saying the same thing, but just different words, different synonyms for who we truly are. Hi, Kelly. Happy beautiful day to you. Jen saying, get comfortable being comfortable. Be comfortable feeling your feelings. Actually, she wrote feekings. They're guiding you. Yeah, get comfortable with your feekings, guys. I know what she meant. Get comfortable with your feelings. Get comfortable with your feelings. Get comfortable with your feelings. Get comfortable with what you're feeling when you're feeling in the moment, right? Going back to my car example, I did feel worried. I didn't say I wasn't feeling worried. I didn't push it aside and be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm really not that worried. See, right then and there, I'm not actually acknowledging what I'm doing. And in essence, you're going to love this, I'm trying to assert that I'm not feeling that. I'm trying to prove that that's what I'm not feeling. But don't we know, guys, that when we try to prove, we just disprove. Trying to prove something disproves it. So I was like, I don't need to do that. I do. I feel worried. But here's what's so cool about it. When we acknowledge what we're feeling, we're also not continuing to draw it to us because we're able to acknowledge the contrast for what it is when it's popping up and keep flowing forward. And here's another thing too. We've talked about this so much in our Best Life classes and in the trainings and the workshops and in the lives, and it's this: contrast and resistance are different. Oh yes. See, for the longest time too, I thought that they were the same thing, but they're not. Contrast is just something different. A way that I've kind of defined it, and feel free to use this if you like, is contrast is just a different vibration than the one that you were previously emanating. So if you're feeling good and then something came in that made you feel different, that's all it is. It's just a difference of vibration. But when we notice the contrast and then push up against that contrast, like, ugh, why is this coming? That's resistance. And here's what the thing is. It's okay that we're creating that too, because whenever we experience contrast, or even resistance for that matter, what we want is already vibrationally created. Source, inner being, has already beautifully created the desires of your heart. And when you're experiencing contrast or even pushing up against that contrast and creating resistance, Source is right there with you. The only difference is that it's not creating resistance. It doesn't experience resistance. It sees what you want in the moment. It feels what you want in that moment. It knows what you want in that moment. And so by you feeling and flowing forward with going, okay, I am feeling worried. Source is like, yes, we feel that you feel that. We have what you desire. Come this way. We have this car that doesn't make sounds. Come this way. And here's your journey towards it. Come this way. Can you guys feel that? It's so soothing. It's so loving. It's like, oh, I can just be like really easy about myself about all this? Yeah. And even if you have been being harsh, no time like the present to just be a little less harsh. If you've been being a little bit unkind to yourself, no time like the present to be a little more kind. And of course, if you've been noticing yourself being not as loving as you could be, no time like the present to be a little more loving. And it's a really an individual, unique, personalized journey. So whatever you're feeling, whenever you're feeling it, just flow with it. So, yeah, I'm going to read a couple more comments. Chris is saying, thank you. Oh, you're so welcome, Chris. Love you. It's all good, right? We're all on this journey. We're all doing the best we can with what we got when we got it. I mean, we really are. And boy, do I have such a clarity on that now. Mwah! my goodness, I have such grand clarity on that now. And I'm like, it feels really good. It feels really, really good. Jenny saying, I love how contrast is just different. It is. Contrast is just different. It's just different. It's just different. You know, and all these things that want to make it like, oh no, it's this, and it's a lesson, and it's a test, and just consider those are all just human streams of consciousness. You know, because even in the past I've been like, no, that's not what it is. But that's me also pushing a little bit. Just consider that's just different. Contrast is just different. You know, and there's no need to push, even if people are like, no, you're learning tests and lessons. That's okay. That's their position. That's their perspective. Remember this too, guys, that no two perspectives are wrong. Everyone is coming from the space of their own, what they feel is correct. There's a great story that aligns with this. Abraham was mentioning how Esther was watching a story, like a court story, you know, like a court show, like where someone comes in and they have to defend their case, and one person is supposedly telling the truth and the other person is supposedly not, right? And so Esther to Abraham said, Abraham, watch this with me, which source is always there, right? Source is always there. But Abraham directly talked to Abraham and said, or Esther, excuse me, directly talked to Abraham and said, Abraham, help me know which one of these persons is lying. And Abraham said, the better question to ask is, which one do you think feels that they're telling their truth? And here's what was so funny. As Esther continued to watch that show, she had this huge epiphany and goes, they both feel like they're telling the truth. And Abraham's answer to that was, well, of course, because everyone is true from their own perspective. You guys get that? I mean, it's true. We're so true from our own perspective. So wherever you are with this is perfect. And wherever someone else is with this, perfect. We're not here to control others at all. We're not here to manipulate. We're not here to dangle a carrot in front of ourselves. And we're not here to do that with ourselves either. We're here for the purpose of joy. And if things don't feel good to look at, you don't have to look at it. You know, you can be gentle with yourself in all areas of your life. This is not just isolated to just business. You know, because I know we did a lot of business classes today, but it's not just isolated to business. Even right now, with what we're talking about, it's not just isolated to finances. It's not just isolated to relationships. It's for all things. It's for relationships. It's for happiness. It's for joy. It's for health. It's for fulfillment. It's for relationships. It's for, all that. It's for all of that. So just acknowledge for yourself that this is for all of it. And really being loving to yourself is one of the kindest things that you can do to yourself. And when you're really feeling and flowing with your own love of who you are, my gosh, guys, it's so easy for others to feel that love from within you. And again, not because you're trying to assert it, but just because you're being it, right? We didn't come here to be human doings. We're here because we're human beings. And that kind of gets lost in the mix sometimes, doesn't it? It's like, oh yeah, we're just here to be. We're just here to feel and flow with our alignment. We're just here to feel and flow with the essence of who we truly are. Can you guys feel that sense of relief? Can you feel that sense of maybe some lessening? Can you feel maybe some things that you were holding on to, or maybe your shoulders that were like this, starting to gradually relax? Yeah, we're here for all of it. We're here for all of it. So, yeah. Oh, and Chris is saying joy, love, and happiness. I mean, absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. It's, yeah, joy, love, and happiness, man. But also understanding that we can be happy no matter what. We don't have to go, well, when this is better, then I'll feel better. Yeah, we don't have to do that either. We can get to a space where we can feel good unconditionally. And the more we feel and flow with our alignment, the more we get into a space of flowing good and feeling good unconditionally. You know, because there's lots of talk right now too, especially with everything going on the planet. Like, well, when this happens, then society will be better. When this takes place, then we'll be better. When A, B, and C occurs, then we're going to feel good. Oof, I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty darn conditional. That's basically saying in order for me to actually feel good, I need to have this thing line up in the way that I'm hoping that I can manipulate to be so. Yikes. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't feel good to me. But now feel the exact opposite. I can feel good regardless of how these people feel about this. I can feel good regardless of what's happening outside of me. I can know that my utopia and my heaven is from within and never from without. Can you guys feel the difference? It's such a different vibration. But again, being loving with yourself. If you're going, I can't feel that yet, then don't focus it on that. Just focus on what would feel a little bit better, what would feel a little bit better, what would feel a little bit better. Allow yourself to just focus on what would feel a little bit better in this moment. And then when you're feeling better, you don't need to be like, okay, but now what feels a little bit better? Just enjoy that. You'll be guided into what feels a little bit better. You will. It's never this thing of being like, well, I need to hurry up and feel good so that way I can get to feeling good. Can you guys feel how weird that sounds? I'll say that again because that was really good. I need to hurry up and feel good so I can get better at feeling good. That's like saying, as you're going into like a buffet, I don't want this food, and I sure hope it doesn't jump on my plate. But I'm going to walk by it anyways and just hope it doesn't jump on my plate. Can you see how silly I'm being? It's all that. If it doesn't feel good, you don't have to focus on it. If it doesn't bring you joy, you don't have to put your focus on it. If it feels too harsh, I'm going to just say, don't focus on it. Just focus on what feels good, and whatever you find that feels good, enjoy it. And again, I'll go back to the example, whether it's Chris enjoying $80 she just found right here, live on the recording. Again, awesome. No shock surprise for me, but, woohoo! Or my car not making noises. It's all the same. It's just about feeling good with what feels good in the moment and allowing it to expand. So, and Jenny's saying yes for everything. Yes, for everything. For everything, for everything, for everything, for everything, for everything. Appreciate everything, guys. Acknowledge how you feel and appreciate everything. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So I love you guys so much. And, I'm going to read this thing real quick. You can only be where you are at. It all begins with being okay with where you're at. Yep. Just being okay with where you're at. So just allow yourself to be okay with where you're at. And even if you're going, I can't be okay with where you're at, can you be okay with that too? It's really that simple. And once you can be okay with that, you'll be able to start flowing forward. So I love you guys so much. Just know wherever you are on this journey, you're doing great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jen, for being here. Love you guys. I don't know. Have fun. Beautiful things coming in Best Life still. Blogs, feel free to check those out on our website that Jen has been doing. Just beautiful. Obviously, we have lots of Facebook Lives. YouTube, feel free to follow us and subscribe to us there. Instagram. They're all different, by the way. They all have different things to provide and offer. So, but yeah, keep feeling what feels good for you. And love you guys so much. I love you unconditionally. I feel you unconditionally. But more importantly than anything, I love myself unconditionally. And it's such a freeing feeling. So go out there, feel and flow forward, and love yourself. So, thanks, guys. Mwah. That's because I have to hold it with two hands. So I'll try it. Mwah. There we go. You guys are amazing. Love you guys lots, and we'll talk again soon.